How are you finding things, Rebecca? Are you right? I mean, has life been okay?
Yeah, it's been weird. My husband actually had to go back to the UK the day before lockdown happened here, and so he was stuck in the UK for 11 weeks. So
Oh
that's
my
been
God!
interesting.
Wow.
But we finally got him back a couple of weeks ago, and we've been self-isolating. And so yesterday was my first day back in the office.
Oh my word!
Exciting times.
It is exciting. Well, at least I mean, at least he had somewhere to stay, I guess.
Yeah, that actually, in fact, we had put our house on the market 2 months before, but fortunately not had an offer. So we quickly took it off the market. And
Yeah. So who? I mean, in terms of your animals, you were obviously in charge of the animals whilst your husband was away.
I was indeed.
Yeah.
They were very much convinced that the wrong human was left in Verona.
Oh dear. Well, that's not great. That's not very grateful of them, is it? Really, when you're busting bread on the table every day for them.
Well, it wasn't the right food. It wasn't at the right time. I never
Wrong
left the
temperature.
house.
When you unpack it, do they eat biscuits or do they eat wet food?
Biscuits. Yeah.
Okay, so they can't complain about the sort of temperature or anything like that.
Exactly. Although I'm sure they would. I have to admit that our most problematic cat is the one called Monty. So yeah, I'm just saying.
Yeah, you've just got a massive round of applause from Silvana there. I think this was all staged, actually. I don't know how you've been communicating behind my back, but I have to take my hat off to both of you for keeping stum and just leaving me in the middle.
Even a cat. No, it's just unbelievable.
Savannah's going to go off on a riff in a minute, I think. Yeah, the Zencast is going to collapse under the weight of nasty comments. Yeah. I mean, to be fair, she's pretty accurate most of the time. Most of the time when I get a bollocking, she's absolutely right. Hey, so should we? Are we allowed to start? Do you think or not?
Yeah, I think we can go. We're recording, so.
Okay.
I think we've got some great outtakes with us discussing how like my cat you are.
Right. Okay. Well, I'll just stick that one at the bottom. There are 8 questions. I'll just make that number 9. Poor old Jacob's just, his whole plan has just been blown out of the water. There's 2 childish Brits hijacked years of planning.
It's the British takeover.
Right. Here we go.
Italian Wine Podcast. Chin Chin with Italian wine people.
Hello, this is the Italian Wine Podcast with me, Monty Waldin. My guest today is Dr. Rebecca Lawrence, who is an Italian wine ambassador and highly qualified. We won't go into all her qualifications, but we are going to talk today about the Jumbo Shrimp Guide to Italian Wine. Rebecca, what is the Jumbo Shrimp Guide to Italian Wine?
Hi, Monty. Thank you for having me on the podcast. So the Jumbo Shrimp Guide to Italian Wine is a kind of compact introduction to the world of Italian wine. Myself and the other authors, along with Stevie Kim, our director, really wanted to take the complex world of Italian wine and put it into a kind of bite-sized chunk that would really help people understand it, make it more accessible for people at all levels.
So, first question is, how do you do that without sort of dumbing everything down too much?
With great difficulty. And we were expressly told that those of us in the authors who are particularly geeky needed to rein it in a little bit. No talk about specific soil types or microclimates. That'll come in the next book. This one, we just really wanted to make it more interesting and exciting for people. So we've added some fun illustrations, and we've tried to make it into these small chunks. So a little bit about grape varieties, but more just about how they taste, where you can enjoy them, broad overviews of the region, and also some kind of fun facts and fun figures from Italian wine. We really didn't want to make this something that was dry and too complex.
So obviously with multiple people, multiple authors adding their thoughts and words to this particular project, how easy was it to get that streamlined?
It had its moments. As it's quite an interesting group of authors because I'm actually the only English native speaker. So we have Laika. Laika is our Filipina. Jacopo is our Italian. And he'd like me to say Ligurian, not Italian. And then we have Lan, who is from China. And it was really interesting to work with such a diverse crowd because we're all coming to it from different cultural perspectives, but also from different writing styles. Lan is primarily a business MBA style. I'm much more kind of flowery and literary. Jacopo is very poetic and Italian, and Laika's quite clear and direct. So I think for me, the biggest challenge was, as the person, like I said, the native speaker who was bringing together all of these voices, was trying to make it sound like one voice whilst not losing the character of the other authors in the way I did that. So yeah, it was a long process, but I think we really achieved it, and I think that the different voices still come across in the book whilst making it an easy read overall.
Now listen, I know that you really love your education role. You love educating people. Why is that? Where does that desire and drive come from?
Well, I actually come from a line of educationalists. One of my greatest role models was actually my father growing up. He still is, but he's he's now not educating. But he was really powerfully into education when I was growing up and really distilled the importance of education, but also how fun it could be. And that's really what drives me in education, is that trying to get across to people that education is fun and it can be really helpful. It's the silver bullet, I think, to coin a phrase from Aaron Sorkin, another big hero of mine. And for me, the great moment in education is when you're standing in front of a class of students, and particularly in wine education, because wine can be seen as this really snobby, really difficult, really complex thing. And seeing that moment with a student where you've managed to take something that's really complex and put it into a way that they can understand and something that they can then take away and use in their life, that's what motivates me. Like seeing that spark in a student when they make the connection between something, when they make the link, when they have that piece of understanding and realize what it means. It's brilliant. It's so much fun. And I really think I have a personal motto of this idea that, unlike wine, education should never be dry. And that's really what I'm trying to do with my educating. And I really think that's what all of us try to do with the book, in fact, is to turn this very potentially dry topic into something that's fun and approachable and should be approached also with a little bit of humor.
You should become a copywriter for an advertising agency. I love the line about wine and dry and all the rest of it. So what was were you in your previous career? Were you an advertising executive?
I was not. Yeah, it's a strange journey. Are you sure you want the story?
Yeah, I want the strain. Give me the strain.
Because I originally come from academia. So I actually qualified in architectural theory and was trying really hard to get a fellowship to write a book. But I qualified during one of our recessions, and there was just no funding available, and my PhD was really niche. So I took a job working in food because I also love food. And it was through working with food and working with chefs that I realized that many chefs have access to really good wine. And so I started to understand that this could be something that I could be interested in. And then my husband and I took a trip to Italy, and this is where we discovered really my love for wine. And shortly after we got back, I was made redundant. So I decided that was the point. I was going to take the plunge, and I started doing my WSET qualifications. I took the Italian Wine Ambassador course and realized that actually I could take my love of education and my love of wine and kind of slam them together and finally make a CV that might make some kind of sense. And hopefully I've achieved that.
Well, you're not doing so badly. Any favourite wine styles or regions? I mean, when you were tasting these wines with the chefs, obviously probably a small selection of what you've encountered since then. What are your faves?
Well, as it happens, it was working with Italian chefs that really kind of opened my eyes to how complex wine could be and how broad it was, because obviously there are so many Italian grape varieties, so many regions, so many different styles. And then taking that and doing this trip with my husband through Italy for the first time, it was actually when we stopped in Montepulciano, so not too far away from you, that I really had my eyes opened again to just how broad the styles can be, even in one region. Obviously, Vino Nobile and Montalcino wines can be very different dependent on producer and site, and that was the Kickstarter for me. So Montepulciano and Montalcino wines are always going to have a very special place in my heart.
So when was that trip? I mean, that sort of trip that you said was changed your life almost.
That was 12 years ago now, I think.
Okay.
More or less.
So what's...
And unfortunately, my husband is still with me, so it didn't scar him too much that I decided to throw away my academic career and go into this crazy world of wine.
Yeah, funnily enough, it cut out there slightly. It said, I don't know if it was, unluckily I'm still with my husband, or luckily I'm still with my husband. We're not going to delve in that. This is a really professional interview and not going to get into personal stuff. So what is next on your list in terms of any more books or education projects? What's coming up?
Well, we are already working on the next Jumbo Shrimp Guide, which will be more of a deep dive into the northwest of Italy, allowing us to be a little bit more geeky about what we discuss, just having a little bit more space in the book to talk about it. In terms of education, I'm teaching with the Italian Wine Academy here in Verona, so we have WSET courses coming up, which I'm very excited about. But also I run the Italian Wine Education Program for Vinitaly International Academy. And it's been a great thing during this quite difficult period because it's an online program. So we've seen lots of people taking the opportunity to take the time and take their Italian wine ambassador status and convert it into educator status. So we now have Italian wine certified educators beginning to run courses around the world. So my next step with that is to continue improving the program, supporting our educators, and getting as many people qualified all over the world to teach about Italian wine.
Interesting. So you're educating the future educators.
Yep, that's what I do.
Okay, so the last question, this is probably the penultimate one, because I'll probably send a zinger your way at some stages. Finally, why did you call it Jumbo Shrimp? Is that a sort of play on, I don't know if we mentioned the Gambero Rosso. Is that a play on that or something? Or?
Very well spotted. Very well spotted. Yes, it is a little bit of a play on the Gambero Rosso guide, but also...
No, sorry to interrupt. What is a Gambero and what is Rosso? What do they mean?
Okay, so Gambero is a prawn or a shrimp, and Rosso is red. But this is also the name given to a quite famous Italian wine guide that gives the scores for Italian wines. And they have this very famous award, the Tre Bicchieri, the 3 glasses, which is awarded to some of the best Italian wines. So it's a little bit of homage to that, kind of aspiring to their greatness, but also this idea of the jumbo shrimp sort of taking a huge complex issue such as Italian wine and making it into this bite-sized package, this easily digestible, fun package. And of course, technically, you can't have a jumbo shrimp. It's actually an oxymoron. So it has these kind of 3 levels of meaning.
I had a very brief look at the book. I thought it was absolutely brilliant. I really did. And I just thought the register of the text was really, really, really well pitched if I was a student. I mean, it is so cool. And I've read books, as you know, we've shared the same books on courses we've been on together, where it's like walking through mud sometimes. There's so much to get through. And some of the images in your book and just how the text was laid out, I thought it was brilliant. I thought it's going to be a really, really good tool for students. So I want to say thank you very much to my guest today, Rebecca Lawrence, BA Honours, MSc, PhD, WSET diploma, and an international Italian wine ambassador. That was a great interview, and I'd say thank you very much for coming along, and we wish you every success with this educational initiative.
Thank you so much, Monty.
No worries. Nice to talk to you. Yeah, it's a great interview.
Yeah, really great.
Yeah, I mean, if the writing doesn't ever come out, you're a pretty good speaker, so you've always got a backdrop in case the book thing just kind of grinds to a halt.
We shall see. I don't know.
Listen to the Italian Wine Podcast wherever you get your podcasts. We're on SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, Himalaya FM, and more. Don't forget to subscribe and rate the show. If you enjoy listening, please consider donating through ItalianWinePodcast.com. Any amount helps cover equipment, production, and publication costs. Until next time, cin cin.
We've just put together a video for actually yesterday, and there's some fantastic outtakes of me swearing in Italian. So,
honestly, no. So hopefully it won't be bleeped out. If it's
no, I hope not. I think they will cut them completely. But my mother was horrified.
as long as your cats don't hear you swear, I think that's quite important. I know you're a cat lover.
Of course not.
Don't like to hear in front of animals, but in front of adults, I think it's okay.